Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I have a very interesting topic that every developer, programmer and coder should pay very close attention to because I will be diving into the act of writing efficient code and I will be giving you 7 expert tips that will grant you success. So whether you are a seasoned developer or just starting your coding journey, this step will surely elevate your programming skills and help you create more powerful and optimized apps.
Yeah. So they might go
Okay, there, guys. So, first up, we have the golden rule of coding, optimizing your algorithms. Writing an efficient algorithm is like building a solid foundation for your code. It ensures your programs run smoothly when you are tackling complex tasks. Take the time to analyze the problem and find the most efficient approach. Look for ways to reduce complexity and improve time complexity. Now, this is we're talking about the big O notation, really your friend here. Let me explain that in code as well. Now, in here we have this little code here. And now, in order to optimize this code, what we did was we placed the list view builder in a different widget, and therefore we came to achieve this. By achieving this, what we have now done is that only the list view builder rebuilds. The entire app do not rebuild. It is only the list view builder. And by doing this, we have optimized our code. Okay, tip number 2 is all about data structures. Choosing the right data structure can significantly impact your code's performance. We have lists, we have arrays, we have linked lists, and hash tables. Each has its strengths. Understanding their time and space complexity will help you pick the one that suits your specific use case to avoid unnecessary overhead. Always consider how data will be accessed and manipulated in your program. Let me explain this term in terms of code. Now, in here, we have our list and we have a set. Now, one of the things I see many people do in coding projects is that they usually store user IDs in the form of a list. The problem with that is list allows you to store duplicate items. Okay. And so the moment you use list, there's a potential that you could store someone's user ID twice. You need to understand how these data structures work. A better approach in storing user IDs is using set. Set do not allow duplicates, and in that way, you could effectively store user IDs. Okay, and so you need to understand data structures. And this is a very basic example. You need to understand how data structures works because each of them has their strength. And you've seen that list allows duplicates, which is some kind of weakness, where sets do not allow those, which is very ideal for storing user IDs. Now, whilst optimizing code is crucial, don't fall into the trap of premature optimization. You should always focus on functional solution first, and then you could identify which optimization is necessary. Okay, it is very essential to prioritize scalability and maintainability during the initial stages of development. Premature optimization always lead to code complexity, and then this result into you getting confused. And so in the first example that we made, we saw how I divided the list view dot builder and we were able to get something like this. Now there could be a situation where you could pre-optimize it, okay, and therefore passing data through one widget to the other becomes tiresome. And so you should always be conscious of premature optimization. Okay, as we continue, tip number 4, and this is one of my favorites, is code reusability. Writing reusable code saves you time and effort in the long run. Create functions and classes that you can easily plug into different part of your project or even future projects. I like to name it dry. That means don't repeat yourself. Encapsulation is your friend. You should be able to be reuse code in functions or models so that you can easily call them whenever needed. This only improves efficiency, but you also enhance maintainability. Let me show you what I mean by code usability. Now, in here, inside the core and in the commons, have a custom button. Now, in building projects, you will often need to use elevated button. Now, it is not very wise to be constantly coding elevated button. What you could do is take a custom button, just like this code I have written here, and then put in the necessary changes that you will need in the code, and then you could call it whenever you want. And so in here, in the center, in the children, I was able to call this custom button. I was also able to call it here as well. And that is what I mean by code reusability. Okay, so in tip number 5, that is maintainability. Writing efficient code always means writing code that is easy to maintain. If you use meaningful variable names, you should be able to write good variable names so that it is easily understandable. You need to write clear comments and follow any best practices like using camel cases. This ensures that your code is not only efficient but also scalable and also maintainable. Because as your project grows, you'll be able to understand what you have written even if you come back in the next week, month, or even year. And making your code maintainable is writing comments like, so we have, this is a elevated button. And this is one of the tips as a seasoned developer, or even someone who is starting your coding journey, you should know. Okay, writing good comments, writing good variable names so that you can easily understand them whenever you come back to your code is a must, and you must be able to practice them and make them maintainable. Now, tip number 6 is about utilizing packages. App.dev should never be your enemy. There are people who say utilizing packages is a bad idea, but I am here to tell you today that they are absolutely wrong. Using pub.dev do not hurt anybody. Okay, there are packages available that do all the work for us, and using them do not make you a bad coder. Actually, it makes you a smart one. And so you should always utilize the full extent of the packages available in pub.dev. There are a lot of things you could use in pub.dev, and so you shouldn't limit yourself in using pub.dev. Okay, now we are on our last tip, and which is handling errors. Now, handling errors is a great way to make your app successful. It should not be surprising that an app in production could get buggy and crash. And so handling errors should be something that you should do often. And then there are many types of ways people do handle errors. One of the ways I will recommend is using fp-dat and typedef, where you're able to handle two outcomes of a result. And this is one of the examples. Okay, you should be able to effectively handle errors in order to limit bugs in your code. Now, guys, on to the bonus tips. Now, please use features. If you are building an app that is potentially going to be used by millions, if not thousands of people, using stream provider make the app slow. And so unless you really need to, please continue to use features. Now, avoid the provider package. Now, this isn't some kind of hate I have against providers. I think that they are limited. And so use a state management tool like Riverport. I would recommend Riverport. And then please understand the widget life cycles. Okay, if you are able to understand them, you would be able to create more effective app. You also need to understand the app life cycles. And then one more thing is also to the offline and online approach, okay, where you store data on the user's device so that the user will have a very good experience when he or she is not connected to the internet. And I think that by following these steps, you will become a very good Flutter developer. And so that is it for today, guys. Okay, guys, so if you like this video, please consider subscribing, leave a like, leave a comment, and let me know what you think. See you in the next video.